Now, meditation has many, many levels. I always say people, there is meditation and there is meditation. There are many, many meditations, lots of meditations, all kinds of meditations. But in the authentic approach of meditation in the Buddhist tradition, is that it is said that meditation, first of all, is a process of coming to know your own mind. It's a process of coming to know your own mind. And also it is a way of coming to understand and work with your mind. And also it's a way of being with your mind so that you can get the best out of your mind. And also a way of developing the ability to remain more in the essence and the nature of mind rather than in the appearance of your thoughts and emotions. I remember once His Holiness Dalai Lama in Glasgow, when he was teaching on meditation, he said, meditation is also a way of bringing the mind home or bringing about the stability of mind. So it is a way of gathering your mind to gain strength so that it is conducive to virtue. So the first basic practice of meditation is, well, basically, if you need to connect a little bit, you see, way to transform the mind, there are many approaches. One is the meditation. Another is compassion. And then ultimately it's about nature mind. Realizing nature mind is most important. So here, when I presented the first basic practice of meditation, is to allow your mind to settle in a state of calm abiding, where it will find peace and stability. It's called in Sanskrit, which is the ancient language of India. In Sanskrit it's called shamatha, Tibetan called shine, which when you roughly translate means calm abiding, or when we let our mind abide so that it is rested. It's like almost like chilled out, if you use the modern terminology. Or more modern term is chillax. Chill and relax. Chillax. So shamatha is chillax. Chillax. First, allow your mind to settle in a state of calm abiding. So the meditation is a process of coming to know mind. But then, what is meditation itself? What is the essence and the foundation of meditation? It is a state of non-distraction. So, through chillax, through bringing your mind in the state of calm abiding, then it will find itself in the state of non-distraction, which is what meditation truly is. Now, when we first begin with meditation, of course, because of the constraint of time, I'm not going to give you a full treatment of meditation. Just give you a little bit of taste, a glimpse perhaps, and a little bit of overall map, simple map, which is that there are two kinds of, you see, meditation or shamatha. Shamatha with support or shamatha with object. You use an object as a focus of your practice. That's the support, so it's called something called shamatha with support or with object, same thing. Or shamatha without object or without support. Is that clear? Now, to practice shamatha with support, you can focus your attention, for example, on an image of a Buddha. Like, for example, in Larablink, which is our main center, we have this really quite incredible image of Buddha, 21 feet image of Buddha, which is a replica of the Buddha in Buddha Gaya. Exact replica, made by the old craftsmen from Burma. They made that really to the exact thing. And then there are many, many relics all the masters gave us, We have the entire word of the Buddha and all the scriptures in the Buddha. And there are very specific specifications in the Tibetan tradition of where the image is made, consecrated. And even the mantras like that, I think one monastery, 60 monks took one whole year to roll up all the mantras that went into the image of Buddha. And then it's been consecrated by His Holiness and many other great masters. His Holiness Dalai Lama himself gave us a 3 relic of Buddha, which are at the heart of this image of Buddha. Anyway, but this image of Buddha is so amazing that sometimes I say to people, that when you think your confusion is big, and then we go into the temple, you find the Buddha bigger. When you look at the face of the Buddha, the serenity and the peace of the Buddha actually disarm you. They immediately set your mind in the state of calm abiding, in the state of shamatha. So we can use the image of Buddha as an object of your practice, as well as using mantra, if you chant it very inspiringly, that sometimes it can work on the emotional level, emotional mind it can. And then of course, one that's common to many traditions, many disciplines is lightly, mindfully watching the breath. 25% mindfulness, 25% awareness, and 50% left abiding spaciously. As Suzuki Roshi used to say, the way to control cow or sheep is to give a big grazing field. So in the same manner with the mind, to give space. 50% abiding spaciously, chillax. Is that clear? But 25% mindfulness. If you're too concentrated, then you get fixated. 25% mindfulness. 25% awareness. Awareness is very important because awareness is the continued awareness, whether you be mindful of your breath or whether you're mindful of your practice, because you could, while you're practicing, just next moment you'll be starring in a star movie or playing in the best club in Holland. Yeah, you're daydreaming. But then you say, where did the mind go? How did that happen? Because there was no awareness. There was mindfulness, but no awareness. Awareness is crucial. The Masters say, without the awareness, the 2 others will not work. The principal shamatha is these 3 things. 50% abiding spaciously, 25 mindfulness, 25 awareness. Of course, after a while, mindful and awareness can become one thing. When there's mindful, there's awareness. Where there's awareness, there's mindfulness. That can happen. So then also, you see, I use very much these 3 methods, using the image of Buddha, sound of mantra, and watching the breath, bring them together on the dimension of the looking at the image of Buddha can transform the environment of your mind. The mantra can really transform the emotional mind. And lightly watching the breath can really, because mind rides on the breath anyway, on the prana, can really work with mind. So on the dimension of body, speech, and mind also. And so bring them together into what I call the unifying practice. But also, beside that, that's like we can begin with one basic practice using, for example, lightly, mindfully watching the breath. That's the most common approach, like Zen and many other traditions. In the Vipassana practice also very much. But that also, you see, once you master that little bit, then also there's meditation on using the senses. Because normally senses are the source of suffering. When you see something beautiful, it attraction, attachment. Something ugly will kind of aversion. So these things, so that instead of, you see, them become the source of distraction, you transform them into object of meditation. That's a very skillful way of conquering. So that, for example, if someone makes noise while you're meditating, instead of saying, what the heck is making so much noise, disturbing my meditation and losing your cool. Instead, what you do is you focus on that sound as object of meditation. Clear? Got it? Because then it becomes, you see, it becomes more and more every day, more and more, all form, sound, everything can become meditation. Then more it comes to meditation on thoughts and emotions, using thoughts and emotions as object. And that's very, very good. Because you see, normally all the problems with these thoughts and emotions. I mean, we don't have time to go into that detail, but you say essentially that when you start using thought as the support for your meditation, what happens interestingly is, first of all, I mean, there are two experiences that can come. First one is for the beginner. That is the moment you start looking at the thoughts, like it is as if, you see, you're watching a movie. When you watch a movie, there are all kinds of things happening on the screen, but you're not in the movie. You understand? So like, when you start watching the thoughts as object meditation, they create a little bit of space between you and the thoughts. It's like you're watching the thoughts. They become slightly like a detachment. Is that clear? But the second experience, which can happen for more experienced practitioners, but it can also happen for anybody, depending on their energy. See? That is to say, the moment you start looking at your thoughts, they immediately dissolve. Now, this is very good because then you realize the transitoriness, the illusory nature of your thoughts, emotions. And then also there's a very specific way of working with emotions. First working with more positive emotions, then more working with negative emotions. You know? Like for example with positive emotions, first positive emotions, you can focus on both the object of your emotion as well as the emotion itself. So for example, love, when you think of the person you love, can inspire further love. You understand? So both can enhance. But whereas negative emotions, it's important just to focus on the emotion and not the object, because the object itself just makes you more angry. Just purely on the like anger or whatever thought, just purely, you know, without getting involved in the intellectual and the emotional content that normally is associated with Shiva. Just simply that way. But there's also very wonderful teaching that in case, for example, if the emotion is too strong, for example, anger is too strong, then sometimes it is said that, you know, it's more skillful to produce another emotion, just to distract them. It is said also scientifically that there are these neurons that they like to gossip a lot. And when you're angry, like you say, oh, this person is terrible, this one, oh, this person is terrible also, oh, he's awful, he's awful. Then there's this neurons, the anger neuron, the group grow bigger and bigger. So then you see, you cannot just focus on the emotion, the anger, you know, then everything comes up too much. So therefore, a kind of a skillful means is produce desire. If you produce desire, just skillfully, and uses the object, because you cannot have two motions at the same time. Difficult. Anyway, so desire, and then desire is actually much nicer than anger. So some of the neurons say, oh, I like desire. They're a little bit confusing. Which shall we go for? Desire or anger? Desire is nice. So they start going for desire, and the anger becomes a little bit less. You got it? And then you can afterwards look at the anger. So there are all these ways to transform your thoughts and emotions. I mean, the teaching of Buddha is extraordinary. It's really skillful and so powerful and so skillful. And this is really the compassion of the old Buddhas and masters, really. Whenever I see the teachings, I feel the tremendous love. I remember when my first book came out, Tibetan Book of Living Dying, I was in Philadelphia on a book tour, and one woman came to me afterwards, telling me for the book, and said, I don't know how you did it, but the book loved me completely. And then when I saw that, I should realize, yes, she understood the main point, because teaching is about love. The love of the Buddhas, the love of the Buddhas, love of the great masters, coming to you to really almost to evoke the love in you, which then in turn comes to love you. The love is very important. As Buddha said, you see, if you look for the whole world for someone more worthy of your love than yourself, you will not find. He's not talking about selfish love, but really love. He said, he who knows how to love himself will not harm another. Often it is because of the lack of love that we become angry, vengeful, resentful, and all that. So loving is very important. That's why loving kindness meditation is wonderful. And along with the compassion. So anyway, there are all these extraordinary skillful means, ways of working, taming, transforming our mind and the thoughts and emotions. But then you see here, now I'm going to go back to, since we don't have so much time, we're going to go into the second category, which we call it shamatha without support, which is through training your mind in meditation through using and support. You see, then slowly, gradually, as you're able to rest your mind naturally in a state of non-distraction, then you will not need any support, such as that an image of Buddha or a breath. You don't need that, you see. My master Sogyal Rinpoche used to say, imagine a man who comes home after a long day of hard work in the fields, and he sinks into his favorite chair in front of the fire. He has been working all day, and he knows that he has achieved what he wanted to achieve. There's nothing more to worry about, nothing left unaccomplished. He can let go completely all his care and concerns, content and simply be. This is how we must be when we sit. Just let go, relax, and whatever thoughts, emotions, sensations rise, you do not have to block them, but neither do you have to follow them. Just remain open in the present moment, simply allowing whatever rises to rise. If any thoughts, emotions come up, simply allow yourself to be aware of them. Just rest. See, this is called shamatha without support, is that when you're just able to remain in the state of non-distraction while not focusing on anything, that's called shamatha without support. Even though you're not particularly focused on anything, but there is still some presence of mind that may be loosely described as the center of awareness. What I'm sharing here with you is the very ground and the foundation of this one, you see. This one, the shamatha without support, is said to be the ground and foundation of all the practice of meditation. Someone who has become familiar with this practice will have an excellent basis for any kind of meditation. And also, when you are able to remain in the state of non-distraction while not meditating or anything, that would be perfect meditation for integration. Then you see, while eating, while walking, whatever you do, you maintain that awareness throughout all your activities. Is that clear? Now, going a little bit deeper. Then on the most profound level, if you go really deeper, deeper and deeper and deeper, and deeper and deeper and deeper, then on the most profound level, now here you're going from the meditation more into the nature of mind, you see. Because our mind is turned outwardly, lost projections, but then through bringing the mind home through the method of meditation, slowly, slowly, mind comes home and settles in its more true nature. And we develop a more sense of being, because normally, you see, trouble with us is we've lost the sense of being. Is that clear? Always doing, but not the sense of being. So we develop that through meditation. And then slowly through meditation, we go almost beyond meditation to the state of nature mind. In fact, this is the transition. So on the most profound level, particularly in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, it is said that on the most profound level, meditation is using the mind skillfully and subtly to recognize the true nature mind. Also, simply resting in the natural state of your mind without manipulation or contriving. Here I'd like to share something very profound. In fact, when I first heard this about 35 years ago, it really had a tremendous impact on me. It really kind of had a really deep impact on me. That, the very famous saying is that in Tibetan it is said, Chu manyuk na tang sem machuna de. Now, chu means water. Manyuk means if you don't stir it. Na means then. Tang means to be clear. That is to say, water, if you don't stir it, will become clear. His Holiness will say, that's a fact. Now, water, if you don't stir it, will become clear. This example is very evocative. Water, if you don't stir it, will become clear. In the same manner, the mind is such in Tibet, sem machunade. Sem means mind. Machu is when you don't alter. That means when you leave your mind in its most natural state, without any manipulation or any contriving. Because the problem with us is manipulation of too much thinking. In fact, one great master used to say, root cause of all our mental problem is too much thinking. So when you leave your mind, you see, just as water, if you don't stir it, will become clear, in the same manner, mind left unaltered. In Tibetan, the beautiful word called machupa. Machupa means when you don't remain completely unaltered, in the most natural way, in its own nature, without any kind of, difficult to say in words. Just. So, sem machuna. Sem is mind. Machu is when you don't alter it. It's beautiful machu. In the Mahamudra teachings and the Dzogchen teachings, the word machupa is the most important. Machu. In fact, the master, when they went sem machupa nyambriga, they would say, leave your mind in an unaltered state, in the state of equipoise. That was the master would say. When he will instruct you to how to sit in the nature mind, he would say, sem machupa nyambriga, meaning leave your mind in an unaltered state, in the state of, you see, in the state of equipoise. So just as water, if you don't stir it, will become clear, in the same manner, sem machunde, mind left unaltered will find the peace, the well-being, happiness and bliss. Will find also its true nature. Word de in Tibetan can mean all of those things. Peace, well-being, happiness, bliss. And also it alludes to it can be on the level of shamatha, can find calm abiding, on the level of vipassana, clear seeing, on the level of nature mind, you'll find its true nature. All that one line, sem machuna de, mind left unaltered, will find its true nature. It's amazing. It's amazing. Is that the greatest change you can bring about is by not altering. You understand? Do you understand that? Greatest change you bring about is by not altering, not changing. The greatest change you can bring about is by not changing. When you leave your mind in its own natural state, just as water, if you don't stir it, will become clear. In the same manner, mind left unaltered will find true peace. In fact, if I were to share with you something tonight that's worthwhile, it's this, to give you a taste. If you can really recall saying, just as water, if you don't stir it, will become clear. And so you can do that while you see, actually, almost you experience that. Live it by saying, just as water, and imagine just as water, if you don't stir it, become clear. In the same manner, mind left unaltered in the state of Machupa will find true peace, happiness. And that's extraordinary. In fact, in a matter of sometimes even minutes or seconds, mind transforms. Because mind has two positions. Which level mind is? On one level, mind is so havoc, all this flickering awareness, speedy, crazy. But if you can just turn around, turn, and drop your mind for a moment, the whole thing changes. The whole thing changes. I remember Dujun used to say, it is as if the whole, this noisy, this busy body mind is completely like sucked by, by the sky. Everything dissolves into the sky. The mind, all your thoughts dissolve into the space of the sky-like nature of your mind. It just dissolves. And you find yourself in the state of calm abiding and very spacious. There's an openness that comes. Experience of openness. Openness, spaciousness, where there is very little grasping. In fact, there's this great master. Remember I told you earlier, this great master, if I bring the two great traditions, the Mahamudra, the great master, the first human master, Telopa, he said to Naropa, son, it is not the appearance that binds us, not the phenomena that bind us, imprison. It is the mind that clings. So abandon clinging, which means let of the grasping. It let go, to drop. Is that clear? There's another great master in the Dzogchen tradition, is Longshenpa, the great master of Longshenpa. In the natural freedom of the nature of mind, Semyi Rangdo, he said, Machu Ranga Semachi, Manzin Manziranga Semanzi, Juhin, Semjin Yo Hompe, Jumi Semjin Butanla. He said, do not alter this mind of ours. Do not grasp at this mind of ours. Alter and alter, you will stir up the cloudy depths of your mind. Mind that is altered obscures its own nature. So, meditation on the most profound level is letting go both grasping, first of all, not altering, and not grasping. If you find yourself in a space, in a state where there is no grasping, where there's perception but no grasping. Sometimes I tell people, it's like, you have non-stick pan, you fry things, but it doesn't stick, non-stick pan, like your mind becomes non-stick. All kinds of thoughts, everything happens, but doesn't stick. There doesn't seem to be, your mind is less interested with what's happening. It just passes like a, there's no grasping entering into perception. And then you see, allowing yourself to be simply and clearly present in the face of whatever thoughts, sensation, emotion rise. So when you arrive at this understanding, then you realize that you're much bigger than your thoughts, emotions, and perceptions. Then you begin to realize that you don't have to be afraid of your thoughts. Thoughts are not you, emotions are not you. Then you become free of them, and you discover the confidence of your true nature. In fact, Buddha said, all fears come from an untamed mind. So do not follow after thoughts, emotions, but merely beware of everything that passes through your awareness as it is. What we are doing is resting our mind in its natural clarity, in its pure awareness, completely unaffected by whatever arises. Just as space is not defined by the object that moves through it. Awareness is not defined or limited by thoughts, emotions that it perceives. Awareness simply is. So the secret is where exactly is your mind is. Whether you're lost in the appearance of mind, the thoughts, emotions, or whether you're resting in the essence of mind, in its real nature, in your true being. Is that clear? Have I communicated something to you? There's also, there's been extraordinary results from the scientific research that His Holiness Dharma is talking about. In fact, some of my Lama friends were actually the subject of the investigation. And they discovered the Lamas who've done meditation from 10,000 to 40,000 hours. They find that really, the parts of the brain that form positive emotions are always lit up. And the negative aspect is like out of order. And what they found is that not only that you see the part of the brain that form positive emotions are lit up when they're practicing, but also when they're not practicing. So that means there's a permanent damage on the brain. They're always kind of happy. And that's possible. This actually research shows that actually it's possible to transform your mind. Because in the West, you know, one of the biggest problems we have, the second most debilitating illness is depression. And the mental suffering is really the greatest suffering in the West. Of course, now there's a little bit of economic thing happening, but the mental one is more to worry about. So that's where I think Buddhism can come make contribution. I think the extraordinary teaching of Buddha is there's a really great know-how, wisdom, experience of how to work and transform the mind. And also they discovered that when you have, through meditation, you develop a tremendous empathy and understanding of needs of others, and also through meditation, particularly when you meditate on the universal love or the non-referential compassion. This His Holiness is very pleased with the result. That is to say, when you meditate that way, it's almost the parts of brain that are ready for action unleashed almost. That is to say, when you practice compassion, that really you become, your mind is more ready, parts of brain more ready to really act in response to the service of others, really. So that's why in the earlier times when meditation first came, Buddhism first came to the West, there was some criticism about, oh, what meditation? That's selfish meditating. You should go and help people. But you see, really, truly, if you really want to help people, you know, you need to actually work with yourself. Because sometimes we get in the way of helping others, truly, isn't it? Like sometimes when you say, love thy neighbor as thyself, I think I worry. If you love yourself as you give to others, poor neighbors. That's a joke, by the way, anyway. So therefore, very much, you see, by working with meditation, we remove the harm in us. We become more skillful to be really, as in one of the famous prayers says, bless me into usefulness. So that you become more useful, more skillful, inspired from the wisdom, you become more skillful to act to benefit of others. So you can also integrate your meditation into your everyday life while you're walking, eating, or caring for others. Whatever the situation. Meditation is so much easier than most people think. Because as long as you're aware of what is going on, and you're able to remain in the state of non-distraction, then whatever you experience is actually meditation. For example, as you walk down the street, bring your attention to your surroundings. Look at the people you pass, the buildings, the canals, the bicycles, the flowers that may be planted along the way. But if someone catches your attention, you don't have to say to yourself, oh, he's like this, or she's like that, or, building is awful. Don't indulge in judgmental commentary. But just simply allow your mind to just purely be aware of the object that you encounter. When you bring your pure awareness to your activity like this, then distraction, worry will gradually disappear, and your mind will settle and become more calm and peaceful, so that when you finally arrive at your destination, you'll be in a much more relaxed and open frame of mind to deal with whatever comes next. You understand? Another benefit of simply observing your perception this way is that you will find yourself getting far less emotionally involved in whatever you perceive. For example, if someone starts screaming at you, instead of thinking, oh, this person's yelling at me, you may be thinking, well, say, this person's voice is pretty loud. His tone is a bit sharp. The sound he's making are probably intended to be insulting or hurtful. And the point is to learn how to rest your attention very lightly on the sensory information you're receiving, and to disengage from the emotional or the intellectual content normally associated with it, you see. If you do that, then you will be able to react to people's even anger non-defensively, and you'll be able to also be able to deal with things non-defensively. At the same time, also, you can maintain your own integrity. You understand? I think the most important thing I was saying earlier is we are always afraid of our mind, our emotions. So if you conquer your emotions, then you also overcome your fear also. Also, whatever you're doing, cultivating the mindfulness and awareness meditation practice will help you to be more efficient and accomplish more with less effort and less stress. In fact, make haste slowly. The simplicity, the spaciousness, and the humor and the courage you can find through meditation will help you to avoid being overwhelmed by work or burned out. It will also bring you a certain stability, a certain confidence which you can face the life and the complexity of the world with carefree dignity, with composure, with ease and humor. These days, there are growing awareness of many benefits of the practice of meditation and mindfulness, and of how the mind can be transformed and trained through meditation and compassion. Many of us will know that different Buddhist meditation practice, for example, mindfulness, compassion, have been the subject of scientific studies in the universities in the United States over recent years. Tests on experienced practitioners show a remarkable range of results, such as a high level of activity in the parts of brain associated with positive emotions, and the ability to reach a state of inner peace even when facing extremely disturbing circumstances, and an unusual capacity for empathy and attunement to the emotion in other people. So it is interesting that when these practitioners meditate on compassion, see, this was what I was saying earlier, what His Holiness was very pleased with, is that the interesting that when these practitioners meditate on compassion, particularly universal compassion, non-referent compassion, the regions of the brain responsible for planned actions were activated as if they were poised and ready to go to the aid of others in distress. So these findings seem to show that the training of mind can have extremely significant impact on the function of the brain. So it appears that through mental training, emotion can be transformed and destructive tendencies can be lessened. There's also, you see, another scientific, it's called the mirror neurons. That is to say, when you with, for example, His Holiness, he's like sitting with him, practice with him, actually his being or his state of mind can be mirrored in your mind. You understand? Is that clear? Shall we sit a little bit, practice? Shall we do that? See, when you sit, most important is your back. That should be straightened. Sometimes your back should be like an arrow or like gold coins. And you should relax, relax, and keep your eyes on this occasion open. And if you would look at me, and I will try to sit in meditation. Of course, if you already meditation, then you do whatever you want. But sometimes it's helpful. I'm talking about mirror neurons. As I sit with you in meditation, sometimes the state of meditation can be a little bit communicated. So whatever I was sharing with you, I'll try to actually practice that. In that, just as water, if you don't stir it, will become clear. In the same manner, mind left unaltered will find true peace. Rest in natural great peace. This exhausted mind, beaten helpless by karma and neurotic thoughts, like the relentless fury of the pounding waves in the infinite ocean of samsara. Rest in natural great peace. It is said in the Buddhist teachings that when we gather together and practice this way, there's a tremendous merit, tremendous power of goodness that we can send forth and dedicate it ultimately for the enlightenment of all beings, that is to say, that may all beings be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May all be free from ignorance, negative emotions, and negative actions, which are the cause of suffering. May they be free from that. And may all attain the omniscient state of enlightenment. That the Buddha nature that exists in all beings. The Buddha said all sentient beings are Buddhas, but they are temporarily obscured. Once the obscurity removed, they are Buddha indeed. So they may all attain the ultimate state of enlightenment, because whatever happiness in this world is only temporary. The only lasting and durable happiness is the happiness of enlightenment, which you really wish and dedicate for all beings on the ultimate level. And then on the relative level, we very much pray for the peace of the world, and especially we pray for His Holiness, for the fulfillment of his aspirations. May his enlightened vision be fulfilled. And then also pray for the enlightened vision of all the great masters of all lineages, and all the great masters, all great religious traditions. And also pray for the old world leaders very much. Thank you.